You gotta let your kid play in the dirt. In these modern times, we've been conditioned to think that cleaner is better, but the immune system actually needs exposure to microbes early in a child's development. And this is the hygiene hypothesis. Basically, children raised in over-clean environments do not get enough exposure to bacteria, viruses, and allergens. And what happens is that leads to an undertrained immune system. So instead of learning to tolerate harmless substances, the immune system overreacts, increasing the risk of allergies, asthma, and even autoimmune diseases later in life. Thank you for joining this episode of Heal Thyself. To support the show, please rate, review, and subscribe. It gives us the opportunity to really expand this knowledge to people who need it most, and you can do your part by just sharing the love. Again, thank you for listening. I'm forever grateful, and I love you all. Let's get started. If you suffer from allergies, you are not alone. Over 50 million Americans deal with allergies every single year. But here's what Big Pharma doesn't really want you to know. The medications you're taking for your allergies might be making your allergies worse in the long run, while harming your brain, your gut, and your immune system. Today, I am breaking down why are allergies getting worse every year? What's the science behind allergies? What's actually happening at the cellular level? And why maybe the way you were raised may be the reason you are so susceptible to allergies. We also talk about how trauma affects allergies, why over-the-counter allergy medications are not as safe as you think, and most importantly, the 5 most powerful science-backed herbs and nutraceuticals that can provide real relief without side effects. In this special allergy episode of Heal Thyself Knowledge Bomb. All right, welcome everyone to this Heal Thyself Knowledge Bomb segment on allergies. A lot of y'all been suffering with allergies. I had them as a kid so much. They have since really tampered down. I mean, there's only a few things that really affect it, but a lot of people I know got the boogers flowing, the eyes red. They're really suffering. And I put this show together for you to understand why. There's different components. It's not just like what's in the air. And also, what are the interventions you can best make to start reducing your allergies? I'm going to tell you what I did. I'm going to tell you what I did because I was super allergic to cats. I was super allergic to dander, dust, really like sneezing, red eyes, and 90% of it is gone. I'm going to tell you what I did so you can get your allergies under control. Now, this is going to be the most in-depth allergy masterclass you are going to find. So let's get into it. Why are allergies getting worse? There's an over-sanitization problem. It's called the hygiene hypothesis, how basically an over-clean childhood creates allergies. You gotta let your kid play in the dirt. In these modern times, we've been conditioned to think that cleaner is better. But the immune system actually needs exposure to microbes early in a child's development. And this is the hygiene hypothesis. Basically, children raised in over-clean environments do not get enough exposure to bacteria, viruses, and allergens. And what happens is that leads to an undertrained immune system. So instead of learning to tolerate harmless substances, the immune system overreacts, increasing the risk of allergies, asthma, and even autoimmune diseases later in life. So if you have a child, do not be afraid to let that child roll around in the mud, walk barefoot, interact with animals. You don't have to wash the child's hands all the time. You don't need to over-sanitize the counters or the bathroom. You don't need to over-sanitize the counters or everything in the child's room. Let your kid get dirty. That's a good thing. So what are some key factors that lead to immune dysfunction? So overuse of antibacterial soaps and disinfectants. That basically wipes out good bacteria needed for the immune balance. What else? C-section, lack of breastfeeding. A lot of these babies miss out on those beneficial microbes in the vaginal birth canal, and breast milk. What else? Antibiotic overuse. It disrupts the gut microbiota. It leads to weakened immune tolerance overall. Reduce outdoor exposure. I was just saying, kids who don't grow up around dirt like me, in the city, they don't grow up around animals like me, that happened, and interacting with nature. I didn't have much nature. So a lot of city kids may be prone to more allergies. So is there supporting evidence behind this? Yes. Are farm children healthier than city children? The answer is most likely yes. A 2016 study in Science Translational Medicine found that children who grew up on farms exposed to barn dust and animals had significantly lower rates of asthma and allergies due to microbial diversity. And on the flip side, a Swedish cohort study in 2018 found that children raised in urban, sanitized environments were twice as likely to develop allergies compared to those in rural settings. So what's happening in the body when you have your allergies acting up, right? There's an alarming rise in allergy cases. You're not the only one. Over 15 million Americans are suffering from allergies annually, right? This is the newest data. And they are the sixth leading cause of chronic illness in the United States. 30% of adults and 40% of children suffer from hay fever, right? They got the boogers dripping. Asthma and allergies, they're closely linked. An estimated 60% of asthma cases are triggered by allergies. I had that when I was younger. And allergic conditions have doubled in prevalence over the past 40 years. And this is due to many other reasons. It's not just the allergens. A lot of them are due to environmental toxins in the air, like mold, right? Especially in your home. Ultra-processed diet foods, that's risen. And antibiotic overuse. We know that's given out like candy, right? So allergies affect the body. They're not just a seasonal annoyance. They cause a whole system to inflame, to disrupt. So when your body's in an inflamed state, the way you're breathing or taking in oxygen is affected. And that leads to nasal congestion, sleep disturbances, chronic fatigue. Your brain is inflamed. Your cognition's affected because we know histamine affects the neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin. So your brain fog is going to go up. Your anxiety is going to go up. Your mood disorders are going to go up. Allergies affect gut health, right? When you're exposed to that antigen, you have an allergic inflammation reaction going on that actually disrupts gut bacteria, increases intestinal permeability, can increase digestive issues, autoimmune risks, right? A lot of us don't think that our digestive issues could be driven by the inflammation coming from something we're allergic to and keeping on being exposed to. It affects your sleep patterns. Histamine, when it's high, disrupts melatonin production, makes it really hard to fall and stay asleep. Hey everyone, I want to talk about something we rarely think about, but impacts us more than anything else, and it's the air we breathe. Did you know that we breathe over 11,000 liters of air every single day? That is way more than 3 liters of water that we drink and the food we eat. But here's something that blew my mind. Most of our homes are basically working against our health. I know that sucks to hear. They're built for cost efficiency, but not human efficiency. The materials in your home are still off-gassing while you're living there, and most HVAC systems are not properly designed for optimal air quality. This is where Jaspr comes in. They are focused on something I've become passionate about, and that's turning your home into a sanctuary for your health. You start with your air that you breathe, always. Think about it. We obsess over organic foods and filtered water, but we don't think about the thing that we consume the most, and that's air. Poor air quality affects everything from your sleep to your energy levels. Jaspr partnered with Aura and saw that one of their clients, when they got a Jaspr, their score jumped from 61 to 91 on their sleep overnight after optimizing their air. That's life-changing sleep. So if you're ready to transform your home's air quality and feel the difference, visit jaspr.co/DRG. That's jaspr.co/DRG and use the code DRG to get $300 off for a limited time. If you love the podcast and you want to be down with the Dr. G Heal Thyself community, we give incredible tips every single week on getting a healthier physical, mental, and emotional body. The newest updates of my favorite products, the newest updates of my favorite practices. Stay in the loop by joining the Dr. G community. All you got to do is go to any one of my posts on Instagram and comment the word news. You'll get a DM to join. But here's the thing. Then your doctor is going to say, hey, I got the best over-the-counter allergy medicine for you. But guess what? They're not necessarily the answer. There are hidden dangers of conventional allergy medications. One of them being brain damage and dementia risk. JAMA International Medicine 2015 study found that long-term antihistamine increases the risk of dementia by 54%. That's mind-blowing. It affects your gut microbiome. Antihistamines can alter gut bacteria, increase inflammation, increase dysbiosis, as I just mentioned. We see that in research. There's also a rebound effect and increase in dependency of this over-the-counter antihistamine. So if you use it for long-term, it can lead to histamine receptor upregulation, right? Your cell is going to start expressing more histamine receptors, can actually make allergies worse over time, right? So let's think about this then. If we know that the over-the-counter ones aren't necessarily safe long-term, but a lot of people depend on those Claritins and the Zyrtecs of the world, so what are we going to do instead? Well, guess what? There are so many other natural healthy interventions that do not carry those risk factors like those over-the-counter antihistamines. So quercetin If you don't know about quercetin and you have allergies, you are missing out. It's the ultimate mast cell stabilizer. How does it work? It's a bioflavonoid. It's found in onions, apples, berries, leafy greens. It's one of the most powerful natural antihistamines. It basically works by stabilizing mast cells, the cells that release histamine. So it prevents them from triggering that allergic reaction. It's a good thing. And because these cells can't degranulate or release histamine, it's not leading to the release of prostaglandins, leukotrienes, which are these proteins that are increasing inflammation, or the allergy symptoms that everybody hates, those boogers, the red eyes, the brain fog, the fatigue, the more brain fog, the sleepiness, all of those that you just hate your life when you're super allergic, right? I love quercetin because it inhibits the inflammatory cytokines. It reduces interleukins 4, 5, 13. Those are ones that lead to a lot of these allergic inflammation symptoms. Things like asthma, things like hay fever, the rhinitis. It actually reduces the inflammation in the lungs so you're breathing better, but it actually works a lot like Claritin, but without the side effects. And quercetin's amazing because it directly blocks histamine's ability to bind to cells. So it's reducing all of that itching and congestion and inflammation. It's fantastic. A 2016 study in Molecules Journal found that quercetin significantly reduced nasal allergy symptoms in individuals with allergic rhinitis. And the mechanism of it is by inhibiting mast cell degranulation or the release of histamine. Another 2022 study in Frontiers in Pharmacology found that quercetin reduced all of those cells that cause inflammation in the lungs that you see in asthma patients, and it actually regulated the immune function. We see a 2012 study in PLOS Journal that concluded that quercetin was as effective as cromolyn sodium, which is a prescription mast cell stabilizer, which is used for allergies and asthma. Quercetin's amazing. It was one of the best interventions that I've made for my allergies. I love quercetin. I'm a big fan of quercetin. And the way that I took it was 500 to 1,000 milligrams per day and divided into 2 doses with or without food. It works really well with bromelain, which I'm going to talk about shortly because it enhances its absorption. Another really potent herb, if you have allergies, this is nature's Claritin, stinging nettle. It's one of the most researched natural antihistamines. It contains these bioactive compounds that directly block histamine receptors, thereby reducing inflammatory cytokines in the body. So you're just feeling those allergy symptoms go down. But not only that, it also suppresses all of those pro-inflammatory cytokines or proteins in the body. TNF alpha, interleukin 1b, interleukin 6. All these are key mediators in allergic inflammation. And so what you're going to see is almost immediate relief of your allergy symptoms. It reduces nasal swelling, mucus production, airway constriction. It makes breathing easier. And it's not just anecdotal. A 2017 study and phytotherapy research found that freeze-dried stinging nettle extract reduced histamine levels by 75%, acting as nature's antihistamine. A 2019 study in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology found that stinging nettle reduced nasal congestion and improved breathing in allergy sufferers. So how do you take it? The standard dose is 300 to 600 milligrams per day of freeze-dried stinging nettle, and it works well when it's combined with 2 other of my favorites, quercetin and bromelain. Here's another one of my favorites. I love butterbur. It's a natural alternative to Zyrtec. It basically works because it's a potent leukotriene inhibitor, meaning, not to get too sciencey, meaning that it blocks that inflammatory cascade that is responsible for the mucus overproduction and airway constriction. So this is really good for when you're feeling congested and you can't breathe, right? You have so much mucus in there. It's really potent at inhibiting those inflammatory leukotrienes in the lungs especially. And because these leukotrienes create bronchial constriction, inflammation, excess production of mucus. So it calms it down. It reduces nasal congestion. It helps block histamine release. And unlike a lot of those conventional antihistamines that I mentioned, it doesn't cause drowsiness or cognitive impairment, which is money, right? A 2002 study in the British Medical Journal found that butterbur was as effective as Zyrtec at reducing allergy symptoms, but without the sedation side effects. 2004 study in Clinical Experimental Allergy showed that butterbur reduces nasal airway resistance by 35% in allergy sufferers. How do you take it? 50 to 100 milligrams per day. Remember, it must be PA-free extract to avoid any liver toxicity. It works best when taken before allergy season to prevent those symptoms. As always, for all of these and the ones I talk about after, talk to your doctor. I love bromelain. It is the enzyme that clears and cleans mucus. It reduces inflammation in the lungs. Bromelain is something called a proteolytic enzyme. It's derived from pineapple, especially the core, and it breaks down mucus. It reduces inflammation. It improves nasal drainage. It dissolves the thick nasal mucus layer and helps clear sinuses and airways. So if you're really stuffy and feel like there's a lot of mucus stuck, you do this one, and it's going to be really helpful at reducing those pro-inflammatory cytokines, those TNF alphas of the world, NF kappa betas of the world, the things that are really leading to inflammation in the lungs. The nice thing is it also enhances quercetin absorption, the one I just talked about. They work synergistically. You'll see a lot of formulas with them together. 2013 study and biomedical reports found that bromelain significantly reduces sinus inflammation and overall nasal congestion, especially in these patients who are coming in with allergic rhinitis. They got all these boogers just dripping down, right? A 2016 study in International Immunopharmacology found that bromelain reduced inflammatory cytokine levels, making it super beneficial for seasonal allergies and asthma. A great combination. How do you take it? 500 to 1,000 milligrams per day. You take it on an empty stomach, right? Because it's an enzyme for best absorption. And my last favorite one, I love this one, N-acetylcysteine, NAC. It's helpful for the lungs. It's helpful for the sinus centric. A lot of you have allergies and feel your sinuses and your eyes just swollen up. It's a precursor to glutathione. And you may have heard about that one. It's the body's master antioxidant. It is the most effective mucolytic agent available, right? Mucolytic meaning breaking down mucus. It dissolves thick mucus. It breaks the disulfide bonds in mucus, like a little trimmer of scissors, cuts them, thins the secretions, and improves the drainage of that mucus. It reduces airway inflammation. It modulates those inflammatory cytokines that lead to asthma, bronchitis, sinusitis. It actually boosts glutathione, which is another good thing, especially when you're sick or feeling allergies. And another plus is that when glutathione is activated, it helps detoxify all of those histamines and inflammatory byproducts that are leading to allergic reactions anyway. So is there science behind NAC? Yes. 2018 study in respiratory medicine found that NAC reduced sinus congestion and inflammation in patients with allergic symptoms. 2019 study in clinical immunology showed that NAC improved allergies and allergic bronchitis by reducing stress, inflammatory stress in the lung tissue. How do you take it? 600 to 1,200 milligrams per day. I take it on an empty stomach. You don't really need to. You can combine it with vitamin C. It enhances its effects. Look, people get allergies. You probably do. Don't rely on the conventional ones. They may not be safe long-term for you. What I think to myself is that there's so many other good natural alternatives. You can take quercetin and bromelain daily. That's for the good mast cell stabilization, so histamine's not being released. You can use stinging nettle for that immediate relief, symptom relief. You can add butterbur for preventative long-term support, especially when allergy season is starting. You can use NAC to break down the mucus and detox histamines. Really easy stuff, really easy interventions. As always, talk to your doctor. If you have kids, let them play, let them roll, let them get dirty, let them be country babies, right? And if you're in the city, bring them to nature. It's very important that kids are exposed to animals, different sort of immune challenging antigens, so they're building up their immune system comprehensively. Remember, diversity and variety is really important for a kid's gut. And for you, the adults out there, if you're suffering with allergies, understand that yes, you can make really potent interventions. Understand that also, if your nervous system is dysregulated, your immune system is going to be hypersensitive to everything. So think about the psychosomatic piece, right? If you don't feel good in your body or safe in your body or safe in the world, then know your immune system is hyper fixated on all the things that you bring in. So if you're allergic to food, or you're allergic to cat dander, or allergic to mold, or allergic to dust, it could also be a byproduct of your state of your internal environment. So do what you need to do to ground yourself, get into your body, feel what you need to feel. Meditate, do mindfulness techniques too, but also don't do that at the expense of missing out what's in your body. Drop into your body and let yourself express what needs to be expressed. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Heal Thyself. If you haven't rate, review, or subscribed, now's the time. Thank you so much. Love you all. Take care.